Before we dive into the latest news and rumors that circulate around our New York Knicks, I first just want to say thank you to every single person that has subscribed to this channel. We crossed over 31,000 subs yesterday, and that is a huge accomplishment. So if you're looking for free Knicks videos on the latest news and rumors, hit that subscribe button right now. Welcome into New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for taking a couple of minutes out of their busy schedule to rock and roll with us as we talk about Donovan Mitchell and if a trade could happen to the New York Knicks. Marc Stein, one of the most credible NBA insiders, had some words on that potential transaction. And then I want to talk about what Shams Charania had to talk about today. He talked about the Knicks. He talked about Karl-Anthony Towns. And we've been down that road before. But with the reports coming out a couple of days ago from an NBA executive that the Knicks' next big trade could involve Julius Randle, I'm trying to connect some dots here, and maybe that does make some sense. I'll share my thoughts on Cat coming up around the corner. But let's read what Marc Stein had to write in his Substack earlier this weekend. Quote, initial indications are that the Knicks do not intend to mount an all-out pursuit of Donovan Mitchell. The Cleveland Cavaliers, for that matter, signaled to rival teams throughout December that they are not prepared to entertain Mitchell trades anyways. And look, for a lot of reasons, I 100% agree, and I do believe that Donovan Mitchell is going to end up playing the rest of the season with the Cleveland Cavaliers. It would be tough to pull off a trade for Mitchell right now if you are the New York Knicks. And not because of the lack of assets. The Knicks still have all of their first-round picks. Did not include any in that OG Anunoby trade. They can trade up to 8, and they have 10 available in the next 7 years. It comes down to money, and it comes down to matching salaries. That's what makes it tricky for Leon Rose to make that blockbuster deal for Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell right now is being paid $32.6 million. So you take a look at the other salaries that the Knicks have on this roster. I don't believe that they're going to trade Julius Randle. They're going to give him one more shot in the playoffs to right his wrongs. They're not going to trade him. They're not trading Jalen Brunson. They would trade Evan Fournier, who takes up $18.8 million. Are you going to trade Mitchell Robinson, who's just had the best start of his NBA career to a season, and now he's dealing with an injury? But the $15.6 million that he occupies makes a lot of sense, and it could help you match salary. Dante DiVincenzo, you just signed him. Don't think you're trading him. Isaiah Hartenstein is another name to monitor. I would not move on from Hartenstein. You guys know how I feel about him. In my opinion, one of the best bigs off the bench. Has to start now for the Knicks, but he does make $9.2 million, which could help facilitate a trade. Quentin Grimes, $2.3 million. I love Grimes. I do like the fact that he's going to have a bigger role with some of the players like Quickly and Barrett gone. Ryan Arcidiacono, Jericho Sims both make around $2 million. I do want to say this, though. Donovan Mitchell and Jarrett Allen, or the center for the Cleveland Cavaliers, their two salaries together are the same number as Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Evan Fournier. So if you wanted to pull off a blockbuster, if you wanted to pull off a big-time trade, you could make it work. But I'm not really interested in all that type of trade. I don't want to trade Mitchell Robinson. I think he's better than Jarrett Allen. We saw that in the first round of the playoffs last year. I don't really want to move on from iHeart just yet. Fournier, you could take him. He'll be a free agent this summer. You would have to add probably 4, 5, maybe even 6 first-round picks to this trade. I do know this for a fact, though. Donovan Mitchell's days are numbered in Cleveland. Let's be honest with ourselves. The Cleveland Cavaliers are not going to enter next season with Donovan Mitchell on an expiring deal. They're not going to run that risk. They already did that with LeBron James, not once, but twice. They know better than that at this point. And all reports indicate that Mitchell is going to bolt when he enters free agency in the summer of 2025. Brian Windhorst is hinting at that, and we've pulled quotes on this show from NBA insiders and Cleveland Cavaliers insiders that have hinted at that. If he won't re-sign with the Cavaliers, I believe that Cleveland will trade him. So my prediction is Donovan Mitchell is going to be traded. Not sure if it's to the Knicks, but I believe Donovan Mitchell will be traded this offseason. I don't see them going into next year and even running the risk of letting him play out the season, suffer an injury, cause him to miss time, and then enter NBA free agency 2025 with him not on a long-term deal. So I want to ask this question before we kind of shift our viewpoint on this show to talk about Karl-Anthony Towns. Do you think the Knicks should go all in for D-Mitch? I think it makes a lot of sense for a lot of reasons, but there's also some things I'm a little bit unsure of if he were to become a member of this team. Let me know what you think. Type Y for yes, type N for no. For me, the Knicks 100% need another creating guard on this team, whether that's Donovan Mitchell, whether that's someone else. They need a guard that not only can create for themselves, but can create for others. And we saw that in the fourth quarter of the game on Monday against the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Knicks offense got stagnant. Brunson couldn't hit a shot, and you had to rely on Julius Randle to kind of close the door on yesterday's game. He was able to do so, but that's not really a reality that I'm having to try and see and play over and over for those reasons. The Knicks need to go get another scoring guard. I'm not sure if it's Donovan Mitchell, but the firepower that he could bring to this team could make them one of the most scary lineups in the NBA. Having two guards that can go and get you 30 every single night as OG defends the wing, did a great job yesterday on Anthony Edwards. Randle can do what Randle does, and you still have some rim protection. I don't think it's the worst idea in the world, but for right now, I'm going to pass on it, and I'm going to go try to find someone else. Use Evan Fournier's $19 million expiring for somebody else. Coming up next, I want to break down what Shams Charania had to say about Karl-Anthony Towns and the New York Knicks. These rumors have been out there for quite some time. I'm sure a lot of you guys know how I feel about Cat, but I'll tell you in just a second. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use that promo code CLNS, and PrizePicks is going to match your first deposit up to $100. PrizePicks is the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America. It's just you versus the numbers. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. All you do is create a lineup of 2 to 6 players, and you simply just choose more or less on their projected stats. Some NBA games happening on Tuesday night that I'm going to be interested in is the Bulls game against the Philadelphia 76ers. So I'm going to roll with this lineup. I think Kobe White is going to have a big-time game. I've been letting Patrick Seatman talk my ear off about this Kobe White nonsense. 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I'll go with more than that. And then Tyrese Maxey, an absolute bucket. I'll go with his more as well at 36.5 for points, rebounds, and assists. You can roll with my picks, fade my picks, do whatever you want. But if you're going to play daily fantasy sports, do it with our proud sponsor, PrizePicks. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS. And if you use that promo code CLNS, they'll match your first deposit up to $100. All righty, should the New York Knicks trade for Karl-Anthony Towns? We're going to close out the show talking about this. Shams Charania on his FanDuel TV show today said that the Knicks will always have interest in Mr. Karl-Anthony Towns. Look, I'm not a big fan of Karl-Anthony Towns. I respect his game. I know he's one of the best offensive centers, or really offensive big men in the NBA. He's more of a 4 than a center. But it comes down to this. Because if you're trading for Towns, that means you're giving up a guy like Julius Randle. So the question is Towns better than Randle? Let's take a look at the numbers and what they've done pretty much through the first half of the NBA season. Right now, Julius Randle is having one of his best seasons in the NBA. Guy's already a 2-time All-NBA player, looking for number 3, and he'll be looking for his 3rd All-Star appearance. He's averaging 24 points this year, just under 10 assists, right around 10 rebounds, right at around 5 assists, and he's been extremely efficient. Look, the guy had the worst 7-game start to an NBA season, and he's up to 24 points, 10 rebounds on 47% from the field. 3-point shot has not come along this year. That is something that Randle heavily relied on last year, getting up 8 threes per night, but he's only knocking it down this year at a 28% clip. And that's where Cat is much better than Julius, 28% compared to 41%. Cat, I would say, is a better scorer. I think Randle is a better rebounder. And when you watch that game yesterday, Knicks versus the T-Wolves, I thought Randle kind of bullied Cat a little bit. I didn't think he had an answer for him, and I thought yesterday showed who the better player was. But on the other side of it, a Karl-Anthony Towns and a Jalen Brunson pick and pop, a little 2-man game between those guys, I do think is a better offensive option and a better go-to kind of set than Julius Randle for his ability to shoot and just score, I would say, in an unforced way. We know how Randle plays. He's a bull in a china shop at times. But when he's got that mindset that he wants to go touch glass every single possession, there's not many power forwards better in the league. Another reason that I'm kind of out on trading for Karl is because of the salary. The guy is paid like a top 10 player, but he doesn't come anything close to that. He's on the last year of his current deal at $36 million. That jumps up to $49.7 million next year, $53.5 the year after, then $57.5, and then all the way up to $61.6 million, which he has a player option for in 2027. And he ain't going to turn down $62.5 M's guaranteed. Look, I wouldn't do it. I'm not trading Randle for Karl-Anthony Towns. And to be honest with you, I'm not in the mindset at all that the New York Knicks should trade Randle right now. I want to see this team give it a run. Brunson, Randle, Anunoby, DiVincenzo, maybe Mitchell Robinson comes back for the end of the regular season. I love the glue pieces in Hart and Grimes and Hartenstein. I do think they need to make another move. But I don't think right now you need to give up on Julius Randle and tinker anymore with the starting lineup unless it's at that two-guard position. Now, if Randle struggles in the playoffs, then you know what? We got to get him out of here. Got to get him out of here. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times. I can't deal with that in my life right now. No, if Julius Randle struggles in the playoffs, then yes, you will need to move on. Right now, what do the Knicks need? They need a creating guard, a guy that can create for himself, a guy that can create for others. There's a lot of guys you can go out and get. The one that makes the most sense to me, though, as he makes $17.8 million and Evan Fournier makes $18 million, is DeJounte Murray. That is the move I would make if I was Leon Rose or a part of this Knicks front office. But let's close today's show asking a question to all the real ones out there. If you could only have one player on the Knicks right now, who would it be? Is it Randle? Is it Cat? Type JR for Julius or KT for Karl-Anthony Towns. As always, I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you for tuning in to Knicks Now. We're going to be live on the channel for Wednesday's game against the Bulls. We'll be live on the channel Friday, potentially on Saturday as well. So subscribe, turn your notifications on, and let's go Knicks.